Dake pinyi ni dwaro ng'iyo makonyo kanda. Osiepo puonjane wangwana wuotho kanyachiel. Tidang'eyo gima mar pinyi ni dwaro osiepe mabeyo beyo. Jodongo puonja ng'ama dongo chamo nyinge. Kokonyo yae. Dake pinyi ni dwaro ng'iyo makonyo ganda luo. Osiepo puonjane wangwana wuotho kanyachiel. Wenyo gima mar pinyi ni dwaro osiepe.
About and then overall for coming. Now tumekuwa na sessions. Nani amekuwa kwa songwriting? Nani alikuwa kwa songwriting? Who was at the songwriting session? I think Cero is a good teacher. Have you guys picked anything from Cero? Niko na secret. I think akusema. Cero ni mwalimu wa muziki. Mnajua? Mnajua? She's an actual music teacher mwenye anafunza kwa hizo shule kubwa kubwa za kupeleka watoto na 1 million per term. So vitu amemwambia hapo, please take it in, use them. What you've learned, apply that in your craft already. Nani alikuwa kwa production? Na kina Ian. Huku mlikuwa na stories sana. Mko mnaongelea nini? Niziko vitu insightful. Walai. Oh. Okay. All right. And then nime head session ya art. It's a pity that this time around wasanii wachoraji hawajakuja. Na vile I was pumped, man. Both materials. I had practical things. I had easels. Huyu jamaa amekuwa tu peke yake tunaongea hadi about mashosho yetu. So we made some art. Kuna Kadin. Tusaidie ile piece yetu. Acha ilete. So we made something. I think itamsaidia. Na share the same thing na wenye atapata. Wenye naingia tuingie haraka haraka. At least this time around to balance, man. Tusikae side moja, to balance wengine wakuje huko. Naturally, if all of us are here, the speakers tend to move this way. And then we will ignore the guys here. So to balance to tukae side pia. Kumekuwa na session ya content. Nilikuwa jirani, nilikuwa nasikia mkiongea. Huko I think kulikuwa na vitu moto. Ulikuwa huko? Mlikuwa huko? No, si comedians. Content. Mlikuwa the same tent? Na Sandra? Oh, tent yao imebamba. Niko nasikia hapo wanaongea vitu serious. Wanaongea pesa. So you know you take that money and then you do things, you know. You know, if you make content, they will give you more money. See money to professor. Mu improve pia vitu. So, vile wewe unakaa, wewe ni uburu, sio? Sasa hiyo uburu kuna styles mpya ndio angalie, uongeze. Tukingoja watu waingie. Lete. Semeji. Wewe. Makofi ya semeji. Hapa chini. Oh, asante. So hizi ndio tumefanya sisi. So ukirudi home, ambia watu we've tried and I'm curious to see kama kuna watu na maswali, my social media is open about art na Costa Juang art. Please ask questions there. Nitakujibu. Now we're heading to the next session and I have a guest. Guest wangu ni Octopizo nitamuita akuje. And then you also have a representative from the bank. So we'll co-lead the session together. Gabiro. Lawi. You know Octo. Vangu inaonekana bana. Give it up for Octopizo, man. He's in the building. Vangu zinaonekana. Karibu. And then you also have Zippy, who's going to help us lead the thing again. Give it up for Zippy. My only humble request ni, karibu Zippy. Ile asubuhi hamkuuliza maswali. Hapa kwa Okto kuna insight and experience. Hapa kwa Zipi kuna pesa na insight. Please muulize maswali. Sawa? Asanteni sana. Thank you Zipi and Okto for coming.
Thank you very much. Now allow me to invite Godfrey Kedogo to moderate this panel. Makofi yake jamani. Godfrey is with Baraza Media Lab. Asante sana.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gabiro. And thank you so much, Okto. And to the amazing artists who are here today, allow me to ask you to take this opportunity to appreciate yourself for being here today. Ebu tujipigie makofi tu kwanza, before tuanze. Okay, hiyo ni makofi yenye unapigia jirani. You're appreciating yourself, si ndio? We can do better than that, right? Because there is something that we are taking out of us attending this masterclass today, right? And that is a total overhaul of our creative lifestyle. And if you are going to do that, then we can do better than that. So let me see yourself appreciate you in a way much better way. Asante, asante sana, asante sana. Thank you so much. For the longest time, the creative industry has been treated as a core something, you know? We have been doing our creative art, but often we are asked, apart from usanii, ni nini ingine unafanya? Do we get such questions? Sisi ulizonga hivyo? Si ndio? But finally, the tides are changing, and we are having such kind of conversations happening in such places. And we are having these conversations coming down to us, right at our level. Conversations that do matter to each and every one of us. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the Equity Masterclass. Kindly, a round of applause once more. Itabidi tumezoea kupiga makofi. Tapiga makofi sana kidogo tu lakini ndio kuanza. It couldn't have been any better. I do have an amazing panel right here with me to drive forth this conversation today. And I will ask them to introduce themselves even as we are starting. I'll begin to my farthest end. Janet, karibu sana, advocate of the High Court. Kindly tell us about yourself.
Good afternoon everyone. Kwa majina naitwa Janet Othero. Mimi ni wakili, nafanya kazi Nairobi. I practice mostly in the fintech, media, entertainment, data, cybersecurity space. So anything to do with the digital economy is something that I'm very passionate about, and I'm very happy to be here supporting all of you.
Asante sana. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that you're getting into sync with this. And I'll move over to our superstar, Costa.
Hi guys. My name is Costa Joan. I work at the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court of Music. Asante sana, asante sana, Costa. Zippy.
Hi guys. My name is Zippy Maore from Equity Bank. Like he said earlier, we are holding the monies that we should be giving you to grow, isn't it? I'm looking forward to engaging with you as we go by. Thank you.
And finally, to the gentleman on my left.
Niaze. Mimi naitwa Pizode. Natoka area za Kibera namba 8. Nimebambika sana kwa hii area. A-Town.
Asante sana. Wapi makofi ya Octopizo? Thank you so much. Asanteni sana. Costa, you'll allow me to start with you. Kindly just give us an overview of the fisherman experience. Why the fisherman experience? And how did you come up with the entire concept of the fisherman experience?
Tukae alafu tusipite hapo. The Fisherman's experience is it's easy to call it a concert, but I think it lives beyond just being a musical concert. It's a concept that encompasses fashion, culture, through music, and our shared love for music as a community. And then it also touches on art, because I'm a visual artist. So I tend to do installations that has art as a huge pillar of specific editions. So there's events we were doing in Nairobi, and then I didn't feel like they truly explored all the dynamics of creativity. And I needed one that would loudly stand and have a clear vision and touch on those things. Alafu pia there were no many stages for my peers to be able to perform. Tulikuwa wengi, so we were coming up in a huge group. Watanda really being some of them, Okelo Max, Brian Sigu, Shad, Sero, all these people were coming up at the same time, but there were no stages to allow all of us to perform at the same time. So we'd literally queue for blankets and wine and folk fusion. So I figured if we started another thing that was running parallel to all these things, it would give people more platforms to be able to express what they have, but with the same level of high standards of professionalism, same level of professionalism. And we've tried to do the different editions in Nairobi, Kisumu, and now we're doing this one here in Bondo in collaboration with Choma Fest. We're trying also to bring it home and highlight the heartbeat of Luo Nyanza through our shared love of music, fashion, and how passionate we are in doing that.
Wow, asante sana. Octo, allow me to come to you. So many a times we look at where we are and we forget about where we've come from as a people, as a culture, especially in the music culture. To you, seeing what we are creating today, what is your input towards the growth of the creative sector? Has it grown? Are we where you envisaged as being back then when you were starting off?
Yeah, has it grown? Yeah, it grow sana. Mimi nitaongea Sheng na Kijaka ukiniallow. So yeah, so industry tukicompare na malisi tukianza, it has grown a lot, but it has also been saturated a lot. You know, growth come with both good and bad things. So kuna time ukiambiwa you have a growth, inafaa kuwa worried. And there's kuna time ukiambiwa you've really grown, it's a positive thing. So the positive is like there's more money to make. People have taken music seriously. Now a few corporates are getting involved in artistic stuff. Sheng imekuwa cool. Unajua sisi tukianza Sheng was like kidogo illegal. Ukiongea Sheng nikawe ni muizi. Now it's like a trend. Every corporate is using it. So yeah, there's been that growth. Sai unaona every day what's wanna produce every day. There's a new music or new art on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. So attention ya wase imekuwa very short. So many people are not taking as much time to listen to music as they used to listen to back then, because there's so much going on. There's so many content going on. But on the better side, on the flip side, is like you don't need radio now to blow up if you have an authentic sound. So authenticity has grown, and I think for me, that's how I actually met Costa. I didn't meet Costa as an artist. I met him as a visual artist. I was told, kuna msana choraga. Hapa Ngong Road ni mbaya. And it was my daughter's birthday. So I went with my daughter to Costa's, and Costa was like, you know, I sing on the side. So I was like, what do you mean you sing on the side? So Ngambebu, play me some stuff. And that's how our friendship began. And I really liked what he was doing, because I told him he reminded me of what we were trying to do with Luodola, is to urbanize our culture. You know, like the culture has always been there, but the urbanization of the culture has been so slow. There's been people before us, like in Gidi Gidi, Poxy, they tried to really commercialize our culture. And now he has a perfect time and a perfect timing for him to commercialize the culture rather than us just embodying other cultures. So yeah, so I think there's been a lot of positive. The positive outweigh the negative, so that's a good thing.
Wow, asante sana. Thank you so much, Octo, for that. To you, ZP, first of all, I think to me as a creative, this is a very monumental phase in the creativity sphere. That is, for the longest time, we are used to bankers sitting with farmers, sitting with other businessmen, but not so often do we see them sitting with creatives to discuss about the creative economy. Thank you so much for that, and thank you so much to Equity Bank for facilitating this. This is big for us. What do you think about creatives not just focusing on talent and broadening their vision towards, monetization and basically banking?
All right, thank you so much for the opportunity and a good question. Now, if you listen to Costa speak in the morning, I'm sorry I can't speak as nice Swahili as him, but I'm sure we will understand each other. So if you listen to Costa speak in the morning, he gave his explanation of how he started from a humble beginning to how he struggled in Nairobi to how he came to grow. What I want you to remember, and even his example of selling a CD at 30 shillings, that does not mean he started with a bank somewhere. They all started somewhere, then later became bankable. So what I want us to think about, banks now are not just focusing on agriculture or people who have businesses that are successful already. We are coming back and looking and saying, we've forgotten a team behind. And this team is the youth. It is not just any youth, because we have youth who are already employed. The team we have forgotten is the youth who are in creative industry. And the reason we've forgotten about you is because we haven't had a system to evaluate you and say, now you qualify for something. And this is why we have this function today. And this is why Equity is here today, because we want to listen. After we listen, like I have today, let me just quickly say, I listened to a gentleman called David earlier, how he started and how he has grown. He works with you, Costa. It's really impressive to see, and even what they want to do. What I want you to remember today, this function is to help us not only come with products, but ways to support you out there to grow, but also to look into the future. What is this that you want to do that you don't have money for, that we can come in as banks and support you? And remember what we've said before. We will not ask for title deeds. We will not ask for pay slips. We will only look at what have you done? What are you doing in the future? What do you have booked that you're yet to do? So this is a journey. We will learn together and grow together. Thank you.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, ZP. And to you, Janet, intellectual property. Why is it important for us artists to own our IPs? And if you can at least broaden up for us to understand what is IP.
Brilliant. Before I answer that question, where's Gabiro? Yeah, I saw you fighting with one of the baddest MCs, copyright. Where has that issue reached? So have you done anything after that disagreement? So you see, copyright, especially for music, artistic work, visual work, is protected under the law. But just because you've not registered it does not mean it is not protected, because the law allows you to come, the first person to be the creative producer or the creative originator of this thing, to enjoy a level of protection, whether you protect it with the copyright board or you don't. So the way in which a song, for instance, is protected, you protect the lyrics and the publishing that comes with it. You protect the mastering and the production that comes with the music, the instrumentals behind the music. And then you can also protect the performance in terms of the video and everything that comes after it. And remember, sometimes when you're doing a song, you're collaborating with other people. You have a producer who's doing the beats for you. You may have a songwriter who decides to write the song for you, and then you're the person who's performing. So you find that one song can actually have 3 different people owning the intellectual property rights in that particular song. So intellectual property rights, think of it as if it was a house, in which a house is on a land, it's on a piece of soil, there's been people who've been able to construct it and put it up. But all these people who helped construct, sometimes you give them contracts, or sometimes it can be, I have the land, you come and construct and we share the house. Intellectual properties are basically assets that cannot be touched. They're intangible, as opposed to normal assets which can be touched. And they belong to you because you are the original creator. You are the one who sat through a creative thought process to create this intellectual property. So a lot of people don't understand that and assume just because I was the first one to upload it on Spotify or YouTube, then I'm very much protected. Registering with Kekobo is only 1,000 bob. And the only thing you need to do is to apply online, upload a format of your song, and get a certificate of registration. If that's too much work for you, then just make sure that whatever you disseminate out there, you always ensure that you mark it and label it as something that is protected and copyrighted. Because we are at a space where people sample and borrow. Some people borrow maliciously, some people borrow with good intentions, where they're able to split a level of fees with you. So intellectual property is important, like she was saying, because we are seeing where it makes, it's now being monetized, where you are able to even secure some sort of funding based on what you have in your portfolio as intellectual property assets. So I cannot overemphasize the importance of always protecting your copyright, but also some of you have fancy names, unique names or logos that also need to be protected under trademarks, and that's another way of protecting your intellectual property. So that's just the beginner in terms of what are some of the rights that you get from protecting your intellectual property and what will come after that in terms of economic benefits.
Wow. Asante sana. We are diving in. Sijui kama mko na mimi ama nimewapoteza mahali. Mkisikia ni kama unapotea, please shout. We can slow down, okay? You are allowed to. Costa, at what point as an artist did you realize that you were creating a business out of your art and it wasn't just a passionate thing that you were doing? What was that turning point for you as an artist?
Are you speaking musically or visual art-wise?
Both, since we are having all the different genres of artists with us today.
Visual art was a bit straightforward. So it's visual, I would make a piece and I put a price, I sell it. I can make another one bigger, I put a higher price and I sell it. If I don't sell, I look at things I need to improve on, so that when I'm doing another one, against everything else in the market, I would try and position myself differently. But then when it came to music, I've taken a lot of interest and commitment to making sure that live shows feel different. Because I still do believe, that people don't really buy concerts. They buy feelings and emotions they get. They buy tone, the texture, the theme of the show itself. They buy identity. So these are the things that would get them to come back. So every edition of A Fisherman's Experience, we try to stay as consistent and refreshing enough. So we play around with the artist lineups, try and make sure the message you're trying to push of reviving Luo music, I call it Luo Renaissance. So reviving Luo music from before guitars and all that is clearly seen on the stage. And once people get these things, they can follow you anywhere in this land, Upper Kenya, and they can even follow you to UK. So I saw that work, and when the first 11 is okay, don't change it, don't fix it if it's not broken. So we just added more onto that. And then nilianza pole pole. My concerts were cheap, they were affordable. But I was telling these guys in the morning, our conviction was to make sure even if you're paying 50 bob, you get a million bob experience. So that when you start charging you a million bob, you don't complain. Tulianza hivyo, we got lucky that worked, the time also allowed. So I would say I kind of knew earlier on, And that allowed me to be consistent. Hata kama iko inawaka, I had the faith that if you keep doing it, it'll grow towards somewhere.
Wow. I love what you've said. People don't just buy, music, they buy feeling. Oh my goodness, that was powerful. Octo, allow me to come back to you. Right now, with the space of trending things and trending quick, and within a minute, it's all gone, and social media has facilitated this, and it has made it very easy for us to get to know artists in a very short span. But now when it comes to sustainability, what separates an artist from just trending to being sustainable to be able to build a business?
There's a couple of things. Number one is authenticity. Hakunaga kitu mbaya kama umeanza usanii ama unachora na mtu ukiimba mtu anasema huyu ana sound ka Dola Kabari. Hiyo uko mbaya. Uko mbaya. So number one is authenticity. You have to love, you have to be authentic. It has to be you. Hakuna Okto mwingine. Like you go to London, ni mimi tu. Kienda New York, Okto ni Okto tu. So that's one important thing that I feel every artist should always remember. Before even think money, is like, is this thing different? Ama nimaisikia kitu kama hii hapa nje. Nini nani set aside from everybody else that si wote tunaweza kuwa tunaduo hangla, but mine iko na vibe ingine yenye ile haina. So you have to always bring this one thing in your music that is very authentic. So that's one. Two is consistency, because you'll not make money. It doesn't matter how dope you are, how amazing you are. Your first 2-3 years, you will not make money. And that's fine. That's just a stage of naweza sema nini ya kubuild yani. Nikawa ukipanda mahindi auvuni the next day. But you see, that's what I see nowadays, is that these young guys, they have 2 songs and they want to be superstars after 2 songs. And it's not realistic. And then the pressure becomes too much, alafu anaacha. Because before I had my first single on radio, I had like 60 songs. Yeah, I had mixtapes, because our era was, unadu mixtapes, unaenda unauza, because you can't afford a producer. Ukipata do kwa mixtape, uende record single. So single ndo maybe naza make it to radio, because they didn't play mixtapes. Mixtapes, we were downloading instruments from abroad to freestyle with. So you see, there was I knew like at this point, Bado says he make dough, but I know the end goal. So consistency was like, this is my 5-year plan, this is my 10-year plan, and this is my 20-year plan. And you have to plan, because if you don't plan, if you fail to plan, you've planned to fail. So consistency. Number 3, and the most important, branding. Kuna wasa wako consistent, wako authentic, but they don't look like hizo vitu wanafanya. Unaona, nimeisikia ngoma especially because we are talking about Luo culture. There's a lot of songs that I know that are so dope. Alafu kutana na msanii, bana, inmero encha. Akai hiyo song. So namuuliza, wasa watalipaje kuja kuona, na hadi fan amedunga vinoma kukuliko. Unaona? So branding has a lot of things, but first is image. Image is many people. I used to be a big fan of Prezo, just because Venyanava, not necessarily music. So, like when the way people receive music is very different. Like most of my fan base are male. Most of my female fans probably are not there because they listen to bars. They're there because they like how I dress or how I smell. Yeah. So people don't take this thing seriously, but a simple thing like kuwa tu mtu msafi, takupeleka mbali. Unaweza kuwa na ngoma mbovu, lakini jo umepiga cinema. So these 3 things are very key. Very key because now if you get these 3 things correct, then now you start to see the money coming. Because unaanza kuitwa show, mtu pia unajua ukimcharge na kuangalia presentability yako, naona kenye umemcharge naenda na hiyo kenye unaitisha. So these are for me are the key and the most important things if you're starting as any type of artist. Whether you're a photographer, this doesn't actually apply only to musicians, DJ, photographer, filmmakers, hata kama uko behind the camera, still your authenticity venye una shoot isikuweka at nimeona video tu kama hii. Like me, I'm very invested in videos because stakagi video yangu ikae msemo mwingine. And that means your director has to be really good at whatever they're doing. So this cut across all the creative guys, those three things: consistency, authenticity, ka fiti mse.
Consistency, authenticity, and a clip you've actually been trending this week. Sijui kama umeona. And a walk. Wow. Well put, Octo. Asante sana. Zippy, for the longest time, we have been missing out. Like, it has been very hard to get financial institutions to invest in our creativity. How do we package our business to attract Equity Bank and any other financial institutions to be able to invest in our crafts as creatives?
Okay, so I'll keep it brief this time. So the first thing, I think I go back to what Janet said. So we need you to prove that you exist. And how do you do that? Registration. She talked about it, isn't it? So because you have your name, you have your presence, you have your brand. He's talked about it as well. So that's the first part. So the second part, you need to prove that you're earning something. Because it can't just come from the blues. Like you want to start, we don't even know what you do. It becomes hard for us to lend to you. So once you've been registered, go forward and start to prove that you're earning. And how do you do that? Keep those invoices, isn't it? The contracts you get. Even if you're paid by M-Pesa, it doesn't matter. It's still a payment platform, isn't it? So make sure you pick that money from M-Pesa, get a bank account, which is a business account, and let it go through. Remember, it's your money. So it can go through and you take it out anytime, isn't it? Sorry about that. Just prove that you're earning from it, okay? So the other third thing I would talk about is you need to prove that you have future earnings to come. Because as creatives and as startups, we may not just lend you on what you've already done. There's need for us to also see what is coming, isn't it? Now, I want to also touch on a few other things that I think are almost like common mistakes we make that then make it harder for us to be lent to. There are these things you would call boring stuff, like registration of KRA. I know you don't want to hear that, but let me be honest. Your talent is your capital. If you do not register a business in a name and have a bank account, what will we be funding? Because we can't fund an individual. We want to fund your business. Are we together? So register, have that business account, show us you're earning something, but most importantly, show us that you're aiming to earn some more in the future. Tell you what, somebody who has deposits paid for gigs that are coming, even if you haven't earned for them, the fact that you have them, you're better off than somebody who doesn't have them at all. Now, there's one more thing. Because of the casual way we do things, we tend to accept contracts on verbal agreements. When you accept such, it means we don't have proof, you don't have proof that you've agreed with somebody to do something. If they take long to pay you, you struggle to get that payment. We want to see it as a transaction because we won't lend to you because of what you have. We will lend to you because of your creativity and what you bring in the near future. But I also want to touch on something. Sometimes we get dry spells where you do 3, 4, 5 months and you don't have a gig and you don't have any money. So when one comes, they squeeze you out of it in the sense that you accept any price. I think we had a creative team there and Costa spoke to us in the morning where he said, know your worth. Have your rate card. So don't go lower than that. Because the moment you start going lower, when we look at you as a creator from the bank, we assume we don't know your price. You get it? So build that as well. So build your brand, like he said as well, but also build your rate card in a way that we can see if we gave you 1 million bob to buy a camera today, we know in the next 4 or 5 gigs coming, you'll be able to cover it. And lastly, Lastly, and I think very important, did I just forget it? When it comes, I'll remind you. But one thing we look at, we look at your brand as your balance sheet. So even as you build your brand, as you said earlier, the key here, what is your brand affiliated with, or who is it affiliated with? Because if you build a brand that corporates would admire and want to hire you, then to us you're more bankable than a brand that you can't actually acknowledge. So we know you're starting. We're here to start with you and grow with you. Just monitor on those small things. They sound simple, they sound boring, but they matter to us. Thank you.
Asante sana. Let me just see by a show of hands, how many of us have registered businesses? Registered businesses?
Even registered name.
Even a registered name? 2, 3. 3 people. Okay, how many of us are registered on the eTeams platform?
Yeah.
eTeams? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, how many of us don't know how to register on the eTeams platform? Okay, how many of us don't know what eTeams is? No, it's important. This is important, okay? By show of hands, if you don't know what eTeams is, okay.
And how many don't have a business account? How many have a business account for their, yeah, I can see a few. Just for your business, for your creative business, very few. So just quickly, as I give it back to you, is just to say that there's need for you to separate your personal spending from your business account spending, because then it's easy to see what you make. Thank you.
Asante sana Zippy. And also I don't know, Zippy, if you've seen what I've seen. I have actually seen 100% market for Equity Bank right here. Like literally, it's close to, let's say 98%. We just need to teach these people how to register on KRA, get eTeams, open up a bank account, and I'm hoping that by the time we will be finishing the fisherman experience, we can be able to do that for this cohort. And they will be banking with Equity Bank, right? Sindio, tuanzie hapo hivi alafu tupate do ya wasanii. Ama namna gani? Janet, allow me to come back to you. What is some of the common mistakes that creatives do when it comes to the legal process that you can easily point out to us?
I'll build up from what everyone has said, and especially ZP. You must be a brand that exists outside of who you are as a person. And the reason you must establish an outfit or an operation that's outside of you as a person is to limit your exposure. Mona hizo situations zenye watu wameshindwa kuendelea na business and everything, then auctioneers wanakuja na wanafagia kila kitu. The reason we are encouraging you to have an outfit that's outside of you as a person is to ensure that if you get into any legal trouble, ni assets za business zinachukuliwa kwanza before your own personal assets are attached in any dispute. And that is able to give you a lifeline to start over fresh or to start afresh if the assets of the business are attached. But also it makes you attractive to investors and to funders if they are able to see that you have a very good corporate structure. Because like Zippy said, sitaki kudeal na mtu mwenye leo nikimpatia loan, kesho sijui malipa kumpata nikijaribu kurecover loan yangu. So the reason we insist on, it's not adding so much to what you do. And you guys are lucky you are born in a generation where everything is very digitized and automated. Octopizo can tell you maybe to register easy, you have to go manually to town, make your memat and do everything in a very manual way. Nowadays, bank account opening is digitized. Registering a business name, 600 bobs, digitized. eTeams, iTax, digitized. In our time, lazima ungendo line up KRA, upate hiyo pin. Uende Sheria House, upate certificate. It was very manual and you needed somebody to help you. You guys are lucky. Every tutorial on YouTube will show you how to do these things, even from a cyber cafe or from your phone. So the importance of that is just to avoid your legal exposure. Then on top of that, like Zippy said, mnapenda kuendelea enter into oral agreements so that in the event of a dispute or somebody needs to walk away, mnajaribu kukumbuka batulini show, batuliniambia, batulisikizana, batulisema. Then if you go to court, it's a matter of who said what and who said where. And hearsay is not admissible in court. Courts like to rely on documentation. Generating contracts is not hard nowadays. You have your ChatGPT, you have your DeepSeek, you have your Gemini. A one-page contract is something that you can go there and put a prompt and generate a one-page contract that says, I want this, they are giving me this, let's agree. Basics that you are able to understand. You don't even need a lawyer for some of those things unless once you understand the commercial terms. Na hii inaweza kuprotect for any future dispute. In fact, hata promoter akiepa na do yako, it's easier to pursue them using a written contract than kuingia kwa social media na kuanza kupigana na watu mkituma hizo subtle memes mtaja kulipa. You're able to recover faster because these people then take you seriously in terms of your professionalism and what they're supposed to pay you. Then, like we also said, ensure that you always protect all your work that you're putting out there. Because if it is infringed on a global, regional, national level, inakuwa very hard to enforce when you don't have something to rely on. So you don't need a lawyer. Lawyers can be expensive when you're starting up, we understand. But there are so many tools out here in the digital space that can give you that kickstart you need to protect yourself before you're able to afford professional legal services or tax services or financial services.
Just a rejoinder onto that. Now that you've mentioned contracts, we've seen cases of artists who get into contracts and before they blow out. And immediately they blow out, now it becomes, management inatunyanyasa, wamekula pesa zetu, and etc. What should an artist do? Putting into consideration that the legal fees are crazy. And literally for an upcoming artist, to afford that can be tricky at times. So before signing a contract, what should an artist do?
I mean, to hire a manager and to retain a manager, ni kama tuko na agent mwenye anakutafutia hao. Before agent akutafutia hao, of course mnasikizananga 3%, 2 showings, 3 showings. If I settle on a house, nalipa the other 5% and everything. So it's the same thing with a manager. Mnaweza sikizana, mimi nataka management fee ya probably bookings pekee. When it comes to producers and performance and everything, I'll cover that myself. Mimi nataka manager wa bookings. Ama unaweza taka overall manager who handles every aspect of your professional life, from how you produce your music, to how you do your bookings, to how you do your videos, to how you even retain wardrobe and stylists. Then you agree on what percentage. Is it percentage per gig? Is it percentage like a professional monthly salary? Is it percentage of what I make after I pay taxes? These are all moving targets. And the thing is, you know and you understand the relationship you'll have with the manager when you're signing them up initially. And it can be something that's reviewed every 2 months, every 6 months, and it can even be commission-based. Unasema manager kikuletea gig, hapa tunaenda 50-50. Ikiwa ni umetafuta hiyo gig, yeye anakula 20-30. If you set up an entire gig yourself from end to end, you eat the full 100%. So it can have various parameters of what you expect your manager to do for you and what they get in return for every aspect they help you in your professional journey. So it needs not to be something very complicated. Ini kitu mnaweza andikia hata kwa exercise book. And you can even do management agreements that cover a certain period, a fixed period, and then you release them. You can have 2 managers, you can have 3 managers, whichever, if you are rich enough to afford. The biggest mistake that people usually make ni, boys wangu ndio atakuwa manager wangu, because si tumetoka mtaa pamoja, na yeye anajua hizi streets kuniliko. Then the money starts getting big. When the money starts getting big, egos start getting big. And then somebody wants to be credited for the success they brought you. You want to be credited for the hard work of where you got. You never had any basic understanding when you're starting. You are now talking big money, big gigs, and you've never sat down to have that uncomfortable discussion. So these discussions must be held when you start and as you go on. In the same way, when you're employed by an employer, unafanyanga annual appraisals. Hizo difficult conversations lazima muzi have at every period, because sometimes growth is unpredictable. Unaweza ka shoot within a year, unaweza ka poteza a lot of things within the year, and you'll need somebody to blame or you'll need somebody to credit for all of that. So have those conversations on a very regular basis.
Wow, asante sana. Costa, kindly give us an overview now that we've spoken about management. How has that been working for you? And is it something that you would recommend to these artists seated here? And at what point should they be looking for a manager?
I've worked with a few. I've had 2 managers. through my whole music career. And I think they're very important, but management needs honesty. A lot of honesty and blind faith in the unknown journey you guys are going to be walking to. Because no one knows where you guys are heading. However, if there's a lot of honesty and the genuine love for what you're doing, and then you also need someone who sees value in what you're doing. First of all, you need someone who sees value in your craft, so that even if they don't like it, they can flip it and transform it into money. And then lastly, I would say, if it feels right, leave it. Let it stay like that, run with it. If it doesn't feel right, run away. Managements are tricky. It's on feelings and someone who understands the value in what you're doing.
If it doesn't feel right,
run away.
Run away from it. Interesting. Asante sana. Octo, importance of building and growing yourself as an artist within a community. How is that important to an artist? Like, can you shy away and, lock yourself from your community? For example, Costa being very rooted into the Luo culture, which is something that you had started. And we remember your song with what is his name?
Vicmas
Luodola, Vicmas Luodola, which was basically a test to the current wave that we are currently seeing. Is it important for artists to attach themselves to community?
It depends. There's people who, like some of us who grew up in the city, we don't know, some of us don't know even our mother tongue. So if you say community can be just where you are. It doesn't have to be a language. Yeah, so like for me, my community has always been Kibera. So I made sure, like, before anybody knows me outside Kibera, like kila mtu mtaa anijue, because now this become your soldiers. Sometimes people just treat their fans like just fans, but for me, like, I treat my fans like soldiers. It's like an army. And then you have to understand your community, because you can come from a community like ours, and you see how Costa is charging his shows, I don't know, 2K, 3K, 10K. There's nobody in my community that's going to afford 10K, okay? So, by his community, they can afford it. You see, depending with the kind of community he's representing. So you as an artist, you're here, and you're starting. You have to realize, me, I've done shows even for 20 bob entrance in schools. So you have to build. The way Costa was saying, you have to build it gradually. Like if it's 50 bob, then you end up so. But the only way you will get that community there, you also have to know their limit. Okay, but it's so important to have somewhere that you represent. You know, for us, what we're hip hop, where do you represent? So before us, there was Uko Flani, you represent Dandora. And so you couldn't just come and say, Mina tuka Dandora. Like, you had to represent somewhere. So me, I came up with my Kibera one. Saino na Kinakali, wako na Kayole. Everybody's representing somewhere. Unaona? So why is this important? This is important because even when you're talking now to partners, wanakuliza, what are you bringing? You know, you can be a dope artist. There's so many big artists in this country. We will not mention them, but they don't have that community. Yeah, so, and you can still be successful without a community, but it's important to have one, especially, I think if you want to be a classic artist, if you want to be an artist that will be, let's say, if you want to be a Musa Juma of rap, you see, like there's nobody who has done anything Musa Juma has done till today. And he has his own community that only listen to that music, dead or alive, same as Michael Jackson, same as, so this is how you build that community that you feel like, the way we're saying music is IP, si usema music ni shamba. Yeah, it grows, you pass it to your kids will pass it to their kids, because once you upload your music hapo online, and the money is dripping, hata ukufe, bado wasona stream music, and that means that money should go. And that's why you need that community. So You might go, but the community remains, and you still need to make money from this community.
Oh, wow. Niko kwa intellectual class. Sijui kama nyinyi mnaiget, but mali penye mimi niko. Mnaiget? Ha? Inaingia, si ndio? Asante. Thank you so much, Octo. Zippy, what opportunities are available for these creatives at the bank for them to grab on Monday when we are done with these sessions? Can they come to knock at, the nearest bank here in Bondo, the Bondo branch, and say, hi, we were told there is this opportunity. I would love to use it. What opportunities are available for them?
All right, before I say the opportunity, our branch manager for Bondo is here. Could you just stand and wave so they can see you? That's well done. Yeah. So yes, you can come into our branches, but our teams are here as well that will also assist you. Remember we said it has to be very simple. So if we take your name, you sometimes don't have to come to us. If you're in Bondo, we will come to you, isn't it? So you're busy doing your thing, we will come to you. That's what we should do. So, but we have other opportunities. When I listened earlier, and we saw how many people are registered, we saw how many have accounts, it's clear that we need to come back, Costa, and do personal financial management training, where we help you with, if it's registration of the business, because it's online, we go ahead and teach you where do you start to build your systems that will prepare you for future banking and for future advance of loans and other opportunities. So are there opportunities? Yes, plenty of them, but we need to prepare you. But as you're talented, I know you will catch up really fast. So besides the bank accounts, we as Equity Bank are trying to create products that use, say, for example, if it's a creative person, we're trying to use your digital numbers to translate it into giving you a loan, because we can predict how much you will earn from a certain video or something like that. So we are at a development stage, I must say, because if we came today with a product, before we listen to you, that product won't be for you. It will be a bank that sat somewhere and did something, isn't it? So the feedback you're giving us is feedback we will use to come up with loans and advances that will support you to grow your businesses. But other than that, in the long term, we are also thinking of creating spaces that you could come if you're a musician, something we talked about when we were in Novotel with our MD before, that if you are in a town somewhere where Equity is, we can have a space where you can come and say rent cameras at a good price and do your creative. If you are a musician and we have, say, a space in a certain place, let me use Bondo now that we're here. We could have a space somewhere with a building that we pay for where you can come and make your video without paying so much to use that space. A good space where you could do that. But there are many other things. AI is one of them. We're yet to have that as a masterclass, and we hope that when it comes, you listen as well. Because once you have AI, you have all the registrations, you have the money to grow, I think the sky is the limit for you. So be on the lookout. We will always let you know. Our aim is just one, to learn from you and grow with you. Thank you.
Asante sana Zippy. Janet, I will come to you in regards to protecting these people. Right now, all the financial institutions are realizing that intellectual property is the new land. It's the new title deed. And that is what they are coming for, literally. And they are creating systems, as we are speaking, to be able to, to come for this. Even as this opportunity unveils and unfolds right before our eyes, how are artists supposed to prepare themselves in a better way to protect themselves and their IP when that time comes?
Brilliant question. We've already talked about the gospel of registering your mark. Late last year, there was a new law that was signed into place, and I don't know if you know it. This law is called the Virtual Assets Providers Virtual Asset Service Providers Act. Basically, it's a law that governs how digital assets will be traded in the Kenyan market. Things such as stable coins, cryptocurrencies, and what we call NFTs. Most of you have heard about NFTs, and also things known as tokens. Now, tokens is when you take a work of art and convert it into a digital asset that is able to be traded within a regulated platform. So these products will be regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya and the Capital Markets Authority. So what we are hoping is once they start licensing providers of these services, then banks like Akina Zippy will come and tell you, we have a product or an offering that's able to interface with your NFTs, that's able to interface with some of your digital assets, that's able to interface with some of your tokens. And with that, you should be able to either borrow, lend, or even save your digital assets with banks that are offering this particular service. But apart from that, there are things that you can be doing in the meantime to look ready and to protect yourselves for any sort of adverse claim over what you've tried to generate as an artist. Other than intellectual property, a lot of you let people use your music without licensing agreements. A lot of you let platforms, let radio stations, let all these people use your music without proper licensing arrangements. I won't go so much into collective CMOs, the MCSK and the priests and the camps because of the disputes and the fights that have been there and the ineffectiveness of that. But there's strength in numbers when you decide as an artist body that you want to come together and build something that will protect your rights and negotiate and bargain for you to collect from such institutions that are using your music or institutions that want to leverage to give you a grant as artists for you to be able to promote and raise your visibility. So coming together as communities, like Okto said, of artists who are like-minded and want to push a certain agenda is something that you can use as a self-help tool if the legal and regulatory spaces are not there to provide you with avenues for you to protect yourself.
Wow, asante sana. And with that, I'd love to open the floor to the audience for questions. Najua mmekuwa na maswali zenye mlikuwa mmeweka mnataka kuuliza, si ndio? We will do 3 questions. So can we have microphones going around? There's a microphone there. Anybody with a question? Yes, there's a question over here.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Lillian. I have a question for Zippy. This is in regards to how social media has not made Equity come out as if you protect us. So if I am to bank with you as a small entrepreneur or as a creator, and given my money is not all that, but I'm slowly growing with you, and the fear I am having with how you guys are not curbing the view of how you care about your customers outside, how does that make me as a creator feel safe with you guys?
Asante sana, thank you so much for that question. We'll take another one. Any other question? Okay, sawa. Zippy.
Was it Janet?
Lillian.
Lillian.
Yes.
Lillian, nice to meet you, Lillian. Nice question. I mean, it's a concern you've had and has been there, but we've learned from it, I must say that, and changes have been made, right from the systems we use, security systems that we use, all the way to how you access your funds. It's not a signature anymore. Now you have to use your biometric. So there are things we've done and pillars we've developed that protect your funds. So you can be sure that your money is safe. And remember this, when it's your money, it's your money. If there's no proof that you took it, we are responsible for it, isn't it? So, and it's something, digitalization is something Equity has really taken seriously, and it's beginning to work for us, and we appreciate. So, to give you that comfort.
Can I ask another one?
Of course. Can you ask?
Another question.
Of course.
In regards to, let's say, as a creator, I want to grow. We were having a conversation with our panelists the other side, and you get to realize that most creators have a problem with growing. Okay, maybe I'm not able to access a better phone, I'm not able to access a better camera with time, but I really want to grow. So if you're coming in as equity and you're giving us, you're not, let me say I'm opening an account with you guys, okay? And I'm a creator. I might not be able to have much, but the consistency of the little that comes with it. Do you think it gets to a point where you have the trust in your customer with the little they have for you guys to be able to give them the growth they really deserve or they really need to have?
Yeah, good question. And I think she's asking on behalf of everybody else, isn't it? Now, here's what we must acknowledge. We haven't had a focus on youth before, yeah? So we haven't had like, this is someone focusing on youth, which is what I am to do. I'm a week old, okay? So I'm yet to develop those products that speak to you, that will fund you. And the key thing, it's not to use the products that are there. They can't fit all of you because you're all in different creatives. So ours is to tailor make it to fit you. But we are also looking at which partners can we partner with that can support us as guarantors, because we know you don't have security. We're looking at which grants can we get that can equally support creatives. I don't want to mention them, but we have 4 or 5 coming. So we're not coming to give you the traditional banking, traditional loans. We're completely coming to you as you are. All we need you to do is first bank with us, isn't it? So we have that trace. And even if you don't bank with us right now, and you have M-Pesa that we could go back and see the transactions, then we say now open an account and start passing the money through. It begins to create a trace. When you are readable in terms of how much comes in, you are lendable. So we have to start thinking like that. We have to start being professional. And yes, that lending is coming where it's for startups, it's for creatives with no security at all.
Asante sana. We can give that opportunity to one extra question if there is. There is one behind there. Kindly stand, if you don't mind. We'd love to see you.
Thank you. My name is Afrotoxic, stage name, but my IDs are Thomas Bright Ahonya. I will not repeat due to my fame. So this one will go to Costa Ujoang because I think he's in the same line as me. So for Costa Ujoang, doing visual arts and also singing at the same time. That is a challenge when it comes that unaimba, but at the same time unafanya art, unapenda kuchora. But music inakupea pesa mingi kuliko your art. So, is in that case, as of you, unaweza ni advice aje?
Nilisema asubuhi, I won't repeat because of my fame. Ni swali poa. In the morning, the first session I said, I don't have plan Bs. So everything I set out to do is not part-time. So be it art, be it music. If tomorrow you see me dancing on the road, you can stop traffic. You say, guys, support craft, need plan A. So I'm at a point now, for the longest time, my music was not paying me money. It wasn't paying me enough money, I would say that. The band knows. It was actually taking a lot of money. I was depressed, kind of. It was taking too much money from me. The show looked nice. Fans come, they have a time of their life. Say, hey, manze, show ili bamba. Wow. Then I end home. Kesho, niko Santak, nachora, because I have to rudisha ile mali imetoka. But music may catch up na art now. Because of the consistency and the strong belief I had in kama ni time yako, ni time yako. So just do art, because it's dangerous and suicidal to leave your cash cow for your hobby. So make money where the money is and pump that money this side. and lift this side zipatane, utasikia poa zikishikana hivi na kupewa pesa zote. Hautakuwa na iswali. Niko sure you won't come around and ask, mzee ati nanipea do na music, nifanyaje sasa? Okay, mic up. So if it's the art that's not giving you money, right?
For me, I'm a dancer, but at the same time, I'm practicing to be a DJ.
So the DJing is paying you now?
Yes, the DJ has more money than the dance.
So you use the DJing money and pump it into dancing? Because I'm sure dancing will catch up. It will give you, actually, dancing will give you an edge. When you're DJing, have a dance session in part of your performance so that you're the dancing DJ. So then now they pay you to dance, and they pay you to DJ. Anytime you're called to dance, tell them you can also DJ. So they hire you as a dancer, but there's a specific section you're DJing. Then that way you lift dance to join DJing. I think that's the advice I would give you.
Wow, asante sana Costa. That is brilliant. You don't have to kill one for the other to survive.
No.
We have one extra question over here. Please stand.
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity. And my question goes to my childhood role model, Octo. Pizzo de Eitam. So I want to ask Octo, like me, I'm a rapper, but I said earlier that I'm versatile. But with Octo, I've seen him doing this shit from the day I was young, and he's still rapping until now. So like, I think it's better that I'll be hearing from a professional, because Octo is a professional. But then I'll be following him, and it's very nice. So I just want him to just explain and give me, because I'm confused, because I'm versatile. But with him, he have been doing this rap for all these years, and he's still here doing it greater like before. Yeah, so that's my question. I just want him to, like an advice, something like that. Thank you.
So when you say you're versatile, mean you do different styles. So wasa wajui, wasa menjua leo, mimi naitwa Octo Pizode, nimekuwa nikirap for 15 years. 15. Hakuna job ingine mimi hufanya, nimeingiza do mbaya na rap. So msasa kudanganya usanii ina do. So that's one important thing that you should always remember, that there's money in art and there's space. It's so big. There's space for everyone. So I think question yako ni about my longevity. For me, I realized that I needed to evolve. So if you've been following me, you realize like venye nilianza from hivyo, nikaenda trap, nikatoka trap, nikarudizi maoliel, mabanko tuch. Sasa inadu vitu zingine, watu wengine wanaelewa, watu wengine waelewi. So whenever you evolved, it's like you're reintroducing yourself. You make new fans and you bring the ones that have always been there. So msee anaweza kuwa anasema, mi spendi kichkaliech. Ombe ende usikie Young Puffy ama Normani. Unakuwa kama Nakumat. Unaingia pale unataka maji ama tei. What do you want? So as an artist, when you are versatile, you just don't give them all together at once. Unaweza sema the next 2-3 years nataka kutrap. And for me that's what I do, like trap. When I'm trapping, I have to be the #1 trapper. So hakuna ati msee mwingine kuna mwenye trap kuniliko. Kama una drill na umeamua unataka kudrill, like you can trap, you can drill. Unaweza do hizi kazi zetu hizi za kina Costa, unaweza sema like culturally influenced hip hop, which iko na niche poa, because hakuna wase wengi wanaidu, si wase wengi. Me I'm big on sampling. So unaweza sample Ohangla na sample Gishosho wangu mtaani. Like we have a lot of stuff we can sample. So you make something unique yenye hakuna rapper mwingine anafanya, and that keeps you always new. So msee anaweza kusikia leo anasema, kwa nini ulianza kurap juzi? What doesn't change is the content, writing ndo lazima ikuwe kitu classic. Now you have to grow. So you see, nikidu hivyo hivyo I was 19. So hakuna venye msee saa hii in my 30s anataka ni rap venye nilikuwa na rap hivyo hivyo. Now we have kids, your content changes. Maybe now I'm rapping about investment, goyodala, nyolo. But then nilikuwa na rap too about kwenda klabu na kukunywa Hennessy. Unaona? So as time goes na venye pia una grow, utaona tu vitu zina change. Kama ulikuwa unaona ulikuwa fan wangu ukiwa mtoi. Sasa hii vitu zilikuwa zinakubamba ukiwa high school azikubambi saa hii. Unaona vitu zima labda zilikuwa nakubamba ukiwa kole azikubambi saa hii. So as an artist also you always have to grow with your crowd. Because what happens and what I've seen over the years that an artist is 40 years old and is trying to impress 13-year-olds. There's a conflict of interest. Huwezi kuona sag ukiwa 40. Unaona, na hiyo ndio inabamba maybe a 15-year-old. So you have to always reinvent and evolve all the time. And utakuwa hapa for the longest. So mimi niko hapa bado miaka zingine chwani, alafu nitulie.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, Octo, for that. My panel, a parting shot from you, and I'd love us to do it like this. What will define a successful artist in the next 10 years? For Octo and Costa, that is musically speaking. For Zippy, that is financially speaking. What will define a successful artist in the next 10 years? Janet, legally speaking, what will define a successful artist in the next 10 years? I'll start with you, Octo. Sorry, I mean Costa.
Untambui, no. I'm huge on legacy for myself, for the people around me. Inspired by the people who've walked this path before me. I'm a huge fan of The Queen. If you guys know the band called The Queen. I'm a huge fan of Freddie Mercury. Kama mjui mtamwona online. I'm a huge fan of Bob Marley, Lucky Dube. Huko nyumbani, I love Musa Juma. And then I seriously respect Prince Inda for some things. Now, why I'm saying this is because I think I play with the biggest band among my contemporaries. So that's when you find your Afrofusion. I have a 9-piece band. And I used to feel bad that when you look at our history in music and performances, when you think about Musa Juma, you say, that's so long ago. That was a long time. You know, Musa, wow. We grew up with music. But then we seem to forget it's early 2000. When we talk about Benga, people say, you know, in the 70s and 80s, that's Michael Jackson time. So it's not so long ago. So we don't have documented history visually and good audio vault. A lot of songs that even Octo samples are not owned by Kenyans, but they're Kenyan songs. They're owned by some companies, probably the US or the UK. So I try to revive things that, because we know for a fact, our uncles know they used to go and dance Aweno Lawi. But there are no videos. We can't see the just tell us, we used to wear suits. Sisi tukienda kudance kitambo bwana, hatuko tunavaa hivi, hatuko tunavaa suti, tunavaa tie. You are respectable. You people are just sagging. But we can't see. So people can't really fault us for not knowing what things looked like and felt like texture-wise. So I try and document our live concerts, and I try to work with professionals. That's in sound, visuals, in fashion. We get styled by professional stylists. And all these things, I do them for the time when I'll retire. I won't do this thing forever. Mimi si kama Octo. I won't be here 50 years. Maybe back in about 10 years, I want to go and be in Migori and chop life. Na ng'ombe zangu hapo na mambuzi. So I want to document these things, and also I like stories where people can go back and you hear stories like, you know, this band used to run this town. So I want the Fishers Band to be the hottest band ever on this land. And do it consistently in a way that when younger musicians come up, they can look back at our videos and learn from Sule, learn from Clinton, learn from... Nataka hizi majina zikuwe majina za household, zikuwe engraved as part of history and heritage ya contemporary Kenyan music. So in the next 10 years, nikikaa Migori, mkileta wageni kufanya domestic tourism, wanaletwa kwangu, wanakapo tunaongea nao kama oracle. These are things that I'm seriously passionate about. And then also, I don't do these things, come easy workshops. Of course, there's partners and we are seriously grateful. But to come up with these ideas, I don't do them to sit here and say, you know what, I do ideas and brilliant ideas and workshops. I truly, truly believe that everyone who's talented and is curious enough needs to succeed. I've had people hold my hands, and I genuinely, with a good heart, I think, I would want to hold as many hands as possible. Because I've seen the journey is not far. We've done these things in 5 years. Others can do it shorter. So I want to move along with people. It's refreshing to find people telling stories of how the things we've done with them, zimesaidia maisha yao. And I beg you people to take these things serious. Kuja kuongea huku. Ilikuwa Kisumu, tulikuwa na Akinyi. And nilisema kwa workshop like this, if I see you in 5 workshops, I'll chase you. Because you can't come to 5 straight workshops like this and you're not showing what you're getting from workshops. So if I see you, workshop ya kwanza, ya pili, sasa nishaanza kuyamark watu. Ya kwanza, ya pili, ya tatu, ya 4, and you're still asking ile kama swali ya longevity, I'll kick you out. Because then now you're taking someone's opportunity, you're sitting on someone's chair who deserves that position. So after 10 years, if there's that track record, I can sit back and say, you know what, we did something for ourselves, and a lot of people ate from our full cups. I'd be calling that a success.
Asante. Thank you so much, Costa. And thank you so much for being wahenga wa saizi. Unajua kitambo tulikuwa tunaquote wahenga. Mimi nikiquote Costa amesema everyone who's talented and is curious enough should succeed. That is powerful. Janet.
From a legal perspective, I think a good artist, and you notice the young billionaires globally right now are creatives. We are seeing younger and younger billionaires who are coming from the creative industry. And what they are doing is either they are diversifying what it is they do, either as footballers or as actors or as singers or as social media influencers, into mainstream businesses to just make more money and cement their presence. And they are not doing this because they are creatives. They are doing this because they are investing also in professional assistance. So do not hesitate to reach a point and say, I don't know what I'm doing. I need professional assistance. So the artists that will go far are the ones who leverage on their networks and their recommendations and the professional services out there to flip their business models into bigger things, like Costa said, to be legacies and to cement their presence in this world. On top of that, also understand your rights. Do not be afraid to enforce your rights because you might step on some toes or you might kasirisha some guys in the course of it. Do not be afraid to enforce your rights. And one of the things that I'm hoping as these workshops go on with Akina Zipi is we'll reach a point where as legal professionals we'll be able to plug in and take you guys through some basic contract negotiation skills and some basic dispute resolution skills, so that some of these things don't need to end up in court, don't need to end up in lawyers' offices. You can build capacity yourselves to be able to diffuse these things. Or even like these artists up here, Pizzo, Costa, can be taken through professional mediation classes to act as wahenga, who you can take these disputes to for them to be able to resolve to you. So we are looking at a future where artists will not inbreed. You look for people out there to give you capacity and skills to come and actually grow the music and creative sector to be an industry that is able to sustain itself from end to end.
Wow, asante sana, Janet. To you, Zippy.
All right, thank you. I pick it from where Janet left it. I don't know about you, but if you really think about it, I've seen Costa do this before at Novotel. And he had a very short time to speak. So people didn't get as much as you have done today. To be very honest, it was a very short time. But you've learned so much from morning, and I hope that seriousness, you take it and work with it. So from the banking side, the most successful in 10 years I don't think it's just going to be somebody who's famous now. Neither is it going to be somebody who's very well connected. Anyone can create connections. To us, I think the most successful person in 10 years that will also be free will be somebody who would have taken their art seriously right now and made it a commercial business. Started to create, let me say, trends and footprint on what you have done, the gigs you're doing, so that in future we are able to give you lots and lots of support and money. So to us, it's not who is famous. It is somebody who takes this art seriously now and grows it and aims to scale it to something bigger like both Octo and Costa have done. So thank you so much.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, Zippy. And finally, Octo.
Yeah, in 10 years, I'm hoping to see, I would say, an ecosystem that these artists don't have to do all this stuff that we are telling them, that they can go in one hub or where, like, our government has like a ministry that actually is dedicated to making sure artists are lived. The way they have Ministry of Education in a sort of walimu, Ministry of Agriculture in a sort of farmers. I hope one day we'll have the Ministry of Youth and Culture that actually is serious in the next 10 years, that these people don't have to go through this. But also in the next 10 years, what every artist should know in this room is that probably only artists will have jobs. AI is taking every job. Only authentic artists are going to remain with jobs. And this actually goes to all the, especially the senior citizens that are here, Willis Raburu and the rest. If your kid is interested in music and art, because us, we came from a background where our parents didn't take this as a job. They took it as some hobby or some stuff that people who drop out of school do. This is a serious business. This is what runs America, Hollywood and music and sports. That's what runs America, not politics, not nothing. Artists are the most paid, probably. I don't know if Costa told you that in the morning, more than doctors, more than lawyers. And they're the only people who might only have jobs in 10 years with the AI coming. So if you're an artist, you're in a good space, so you should be excited. Hey, Tom.
Wow. Asante sana, Octo. Thank you so much, Zippy. Thank you so much, Costa and Janet. This has been an amazing conversation. Asanteni sana for joining us for the Equity Creators Masterclass. And I have been your host, Godfrey Emoja from Baraza Media Lab. Asanteni sana. Kindly clap for our panel. And thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
All right, one more time, a round of applause for the panel. Makofi, Makofi. Danke pinyi ni dwaro ng'iyo makonyo ganda.
Ongea bana, adwa pesa bana, adwa pesa.
Pesa utasa.
Ani sina pesa. Adwa pesa. Adwa pesa bana.
Na marapa wamevaa yellow hapo backstage waambia niangalie gari juice wamekuwa kanjo. Give a fuck man, nimekuwa vajo rap kwa damn man, neja toka pato. Jeli ni ya Octopizo Obama na pia sijasahau Lumumba pato. No wonder squeeze nikipanda stage na taga favorite rap hapo na mkono kwa kichwa na nawika mayo.
Inalando pile pile bendo winja. Inalando pile pile bendo winja. Nango bango tuch, jawada bango tuch. Bango tuch, wonya boro bango tuch. Inalando pile pile bendo winja. Inalando pile pile bendo winja. Nango bango tuch, jawada bango tuch. Bango tuch, wonya Dake pinyi ni dwaro ng'iyo makonyo